In a beautiful town named Ebu lived a young and beautiful girl named Eneojor. Eneojor was a vision of timeless beauty, her presence commanding attention wherever she went. Her deep ebony skin shimmered under the sun like polished onyx, a testament to her vibrant health and heritage. High cheekbones framed her oval face, while her full, heart-shaped lips carried a natural allure, soft and captivating. Her almond-shaped eyes, dark and soulful, seemed to hold secrets of 1,000 stories, their gaze piercing yet warm. Thick, arched brows perfectly outlined her expressive face, giving her an air of confidence and grace. Eneojor's physique was equally striking, tall and statuesque, with an elegance that made her seem almost regal. Her every movement was deliberate, her stride exuding strength and determination. She had a smile that could light up the darkest room, but it was her inner resilience and wisdom that truly defined her beauty. She was not just admired for her outer charm but revered for her strength of spirit, a rare combination that made her unforgettable to all who encountered her. Eneojor stood under the giant udala tree, her bare feet sinking into the soft earth as she listened to the sound of the approaching river. Obina's laughter carried through the warm evening air, and she turned to see him emerging from the forest path, carrying a basket of ripe mangoes. "Only you, Obina, would climb a tree just to impress me," Eneojor teased, her lips curving into a smile. "Impress you?" Obina feigned offense, placing the basket on the ground. "I don't need to impress you. I already have your heart." "And what makes you so sure?" she challenged, raising an eyebrow. Obina stepped closer, his gaze soft but unwavering. "Because I gave you mine first." Eneojor felt her cheeks grow warm as she laughed and turned away, pretending to focus on the setting sun. But her heart swelled, as it always did when she was with him. Obina had a way of making the world feel lighter, like anything was possible as long as they were together. Theirs was a love that had blossomed quietly but deeply. Eneojor had first met Obina 2 years ago during the annual yam festival in her village. She had been helping her mother serve roasted yams when Obina, a visiting guest, had approached with a smile so wide it seemed to light up the entire square. "Your yams must taste better than the rest," he had said, holding out a coin to pay. "They're the same yams everyone else is roasting," Eneojor had replied, her tone sharp but playful. "Then I'll buy from you every day until I'm sure," he countered, earning her laughter. From that day, Obina had pursued her with a determination that left no room for doubt. He wrote her letters filled with poems and promises, traveled long distances to visit her, and even learned to carry water from the stream alongside her. Over time, his persistence and kindness broke down her defenses, and she let him into her heart. 2 years later, their love had only grown stronger. They were a team, partners in everything. While Eneojor was practical and quick-witted, Obina was warm and easygoing, always ready to lighten the mood with a joke or a song. Together, they dreamed of a life filled with laughter, children, and endless evenings under the udala tree. When Obina had asked for her hand in marriage, Eneojor had felt as though the stars themselves had aligned for her. She had known there would be challenges. They were both from different villages, with different customs, but she believed their love was strong enough to overcome anything. As the wedding drew near, Obina's family sent word that Eneojor would travel to Oloma after the ceremony to live with them. The news had filled her with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. She would miss her mother and her familiar surroundings, but the thought of starting a new chapter with Obina filled her with hope. The morning of their departure, Eneojor's mother, Mama In, held her tightly. "Be strong, my daughter," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "And remember, love is a gift, but courage will see you through the trials of life." Eneojor nodded, tears welling in her eyes as she climbed into the cart that would take her and Obina to his family home. She held Obina's hand tightly as they set off, her heart full of love and anticipation. She could never have imagined the storm that awaited them. The journey to Oloma was long, with the roads winding through dense forests and sprawling farmlands. Eneojor leaned against Obina's shoulder, her eyes scanning the unfamiliar landscape. She could feel his warmth beside her, a reassurance that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. As the cart approached the village gates, Eneojor noticed a distinct change in the atmosphere. The air felt heavier, as though it carried the weight of something unspoken. Villagers stopped what they were doing to stare, their whispers rising like the rustle of dry leaves. "Why are they looking at us like that?" Eneojor asked, her voice low. "They're just curious about my new wife," Obinna replied with a forced smile, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of unease. Eneojor squeezed his hand, choosing to believe him. The compound was large and impressive, with neatly thatched roofs and walls adorned with intricate carvings. Obinna's mother, Chidima, was the first to greet them, her face lighting up as she enveloped Eneojor in a warm embrace. "Welcome, my daughter," Chidima said, though her smile faltered slightly when she glanced toward the main house. From the shadows of the doorway, a tall figure emerged. Chief is Obinna's father. His presence was commanding, his gaze sharp as he scrutinized Eneojor from head to toe. "So, this is the woman who has stolen my son's heart," he said, his voice deep and measured. Eneojor bowed respectfully. "It's an honor to meet you, Papa." Chief is nodded, though his expression remained unreadable. "You are welcome to our home. I trust you will make a worthy addition to this family." His words hung in the air, heavy with an undertone Eneojor couldn't quite place. The first few days passed in a flurry of introductions and settling in. Eneojor worked hard to win over Obinna's relatives, cooking meals, helping with chores, and listening attentively to stories about the family's history. Despite her efforts, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. She noticed the way Chidima avoided meeting her eyes, as though burdened by a secret she couldn't share. The village women, too, seemed to watch her with a mix of pity and curiosity, their conversations halting whenever she approached. One afternoon, while fetching water from the stream, Eneojor overheard two women whispering nearby. "She doesn't know yet," one of them said. "She will soon," the other replied, her voice tinged with both fear and excitement. Eneojor's curiosity burned, but before she could ask what they meant, the woman noticed her and quickly walked away. That evening, Eneojor confronted Obinna in their room. "Obinna, what is going on?" she demanded, her arms crossed. "Everyone here is acting strange, and I can feel that they're hiding something from me." Obinna sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Eneojor, I wanted to tell you, but I didn't know how." "Tell me what?" she pressed, her heart pounding. He hesitated, then sat beside her, taking her hands in his. "There's a tradition in our family. A ritual that has been followed for generations." "What kind of ritual?" Eneojor asked, her voice tinged with suspicion. Obinna looked away, his shoulders slumping. "Before a marriage is consummated, the bride she must lie with the head of the family first." For a moment, Eneojor thought she hadn't heard him correctly. But the shame in his eyes confirmed the truth. Her voice was barely above a whisper. "You mean, your father?" Obinna nodded, his grip tightening on her hands. "I fought against it, Eneojor. I begged him to change the tradition, but he refused. He said it's the will of the ancestors." Eneojor pulled her hands free, standing abruptly. "And you were just going to let this happen?" "No," Obinna said quickly, rising to his feet. "I love you, Eneojor. I swear I'll find a way to stop it. Just give me time." But Eneojor wasn't listening. Her mind raced, her heart aching with a mixture of anger and betrayal. She had come to this village full of hope, only to be faced with a nightmare she could never have imagined. As the night deepened, she sat alone by the window, staring at the moonlit compound below. One thing was clear, she would not let this tradition define her. Whatever it took, she would fight it.